this week, innit? It was a fun conversation.
Yeah, no, we did, man. It was
Yeah, fam.
Wait, when was this? We was on the phone the other day.
I think it was Wednesday. No, was it Wednesday? Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday.
That was a long ass phone call.
It was 3 hours.
Yeah, just sort of plans, visions.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because the podcast dropped on Monday. Tuesday came along and I was like, look, gotta have this conversation.
Yeah, man.
And then what? It went from like 11 to about 2 o'clock in the morning. That was a productive conversation.
Yeah.
And
still yet to fully get on that, but
I feel
it's coming.
like
It's coming.
no, you know what? Yeah. Now that I'm getting in bad spirits, like
Injection of vitality.
like I swear to you, yeah. Like when I say I'm the best producer, like I feel like I don't know what people think when I say that, but really and truly,
This guy's about to ruin the
what-
whole show.
I'm just thing. Yeah, like what I mean by that is what I mean by that I was ruined the whole setup. What I mean by that is me as I work, I come up with ideas that are unlike what people have in the marketplace, and then I'm able to also do the things that people do in the marketplace, and then I'm also able to work to a high frequency, so I can work day by day and stuff like that. And I don't know, do I know anyone that produces as much as I do? I don't know yet. Yeah. So
I'm
that's
coming
why.
up hot on your tails, fam.
Pardon?
I'm coming up on your tails. Watch. 2020, fam.
8 days in, man's getting cocky, fam.
No, mate. The vision is clear.
Wait, so you think that you're okay then? Okay.
I'm not saying this year, but
Yo.
it's coming. Don't worry. Do not worry.
Okay. No, see, because that's funny. Like, someone thinking that they can be just as good as me is like, it puts a fire in my chest. It's like, oh,
Good, man. Good.
it's like, oh,
It's gotta be.
you want a piece of me?
That's the funny thing though, because it's like even whilst I'm doing this 8 days thing, like I'm doing it with Willem. He's not like necessarily posting them up.
Yeah.
That was just something I committed to, but just having that where it's like, do you know when you just send someone, it's like, yeah, oh man, I'm holding up on this, like, and even though like you're boys and you're doing it together, when you post that beat first, or you post the 2 that you dropped that you've done, yeah, and you're like, yeah, where's yours, bro? It's like. That's to me what, like, I just love that, because that's where that energy, it pushes you, man. It's like having that ecosystem. That's exactly what we was talking about in that call. But it's just really cool.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's like the energy that girls give me. Like those are the only 2 energies that like are real. Like when I'm working real hard for
interesting,
because a girl's in my life, and or I'm working real hard because I just want, like, because I said before in our other conversation that I set up like just arbitrary goals to achieve something, because there's no one around that's doing what I'm doing, so I have to like figure out, okay, what level of production says that I'm good at this thing. So that's why I start and now, like I just told you, I feel like I start dropping for like 10 articles a week. And I feel like 2020, that's where I'm gonna be like doing 2 a day, like morning and night and stuff, and hopefully like I'll be able to like do, because obviously like in Prime now I'm gonna be doing it once a week, innit? Like there's so many like weird things happen that's like and then some that I can't just say that I'm the best producer in the UK. And I was like,
I can see where they're coming from, but it's like,
I can't see where they're coming from.
I can, because when you say things like that, it's the way it comes across to people. But is that necessarily a relevant thing
was a
as
he.
to why, or he, whatever. I don't know why I
Yeah.
thought it was a she. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's odd. Yeah, like, you're going to make people feel some type of way, but is that necessarily a reason why you should not have that opinion about yourself?
It's
or
not an opinion.
No? Or,
It's not an opinion.
Well, look,
It's
it can be
fact.
classed as opinion.
Yeah, it can be class opinion
Okay.
by somebody else.
Yeah.
Not
But
to
my
me.
point is, yeah,
Yeah.
is that something that should stop you talking like that? If that's what you that's what you believe in yourself?
You know what? Do you know how the conversation went? Because they didn't know anything that they didn't know the frequency in which I produce, because that's a big thing about production. It's like high frequency and high quality.
Yeah.
And that is like what I do.
Wasn't that in the chat? I posted
Is
something
it?
like that. I swear I did. Or I was thinking to quality versus quantity.
Yeah, let's get into it then. If that was a conversation.
It was something I wanted to talk about anyway.
No, yeah, let's talk about it then. Go on. Like basically, like I was like, and then they were like, oh, because I told them that my website exists and my podcast exists and stuff, but it's like when people like don't necessarily want to take note of that thing, and then I'm telling them, look, it's 7 months deep, 150 articles written onto my website, like, and I've even got videos in the stash that I haven't even dropped yet, just because like, I want to edit them up a certain way, and but it's like, you're coming at me. No, I don't know why. Like, I feel other people have an audacity when it's me. I'm the one with audacity, but it's just like one of those funny things that, like, if we're having a conversation, at least know what I produce, and then I see what you do, yeah. But this person has a high frequency and high quality, just like you. And because if you can do that to me, then I'll be like,
okay, fair enough. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Oh,
yeah.
This person is okay, and then
that changes it. Then
it's
you
like,
can say, okay, fair enough.
If this was 2008, and like I was doing music or whatever, and like you had Kanye West, like with his high frequency, high quality, and him doing Good Music Fridays, like you'd 100% have me by the balls. If this was friggin' 1980, when Vogue was dropping a magazine a month, then like it was something ridiculous. But I don't know anyone that drops articles as frequency as I do at all. Like, I don't know anyone that drops it. And then massive conglomerate, like so an individual ride that drops as much as I do, and like I have. Like,
what? But are you talking about within your sector, or are you talking?
I'm looking at every single person within London, like every single magazine that I can even see, and just okay, what's their frequency like? And a lot of people are quarterly, bi-quarterly, and there's no one that's doing monthly. So if you have 8-10 people doing,
wait, they're dropping articles quarterly.
They're dropping magazines quarterly.
Okay.
That'll probably have 24 articles in there or something, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Or like in there, but like that is the same quantity that. But are they real as good as mine? See, and those are the type of things. It's like, you know, you can say that.
Written.
You can say that. You can say that. Like, you know. It's only a better writer than me, and they're a better writer than me. I'll say they're a better writer than me.
I said written though, because you said wrote better than me, written better than me. Sorry, I was being that guy.
Yeah, I genuinely don't care, but it's alright. It's like
it was just too good opportunity.
But it's like, and also there's like longevity, so it's like.
But
I totally understand someone saying that.
The thing
I'm
is,
not a great producer because.
But the way
actually, I can't say that. I can totally understand someone saying that, look, you've been doing this for 7 months. So, like, if you're at 2 years and you're at this high frequency, high quality, then you can start saying something. And that's perfectly fine.
Look, it's probably the way people view writing. It's like, it's like,
Like,
I can sit there and write something. Like,
no one
I can
respects
just
my
sit there.
writing, to be honest.
I can sit there and write something. But if you actually look at the ideas, this is what I'm saying, and I think this is the problem with the world. It's like, obviously, ideas are a dime a dozen. Yeah, it's the execution of the ideas, but that's the beauty of an idea when it's put to use. The quality of the idea is what does become such an important thing. And I think with your articles, what I like about your articles is the way you link them together, and the way and just the perspectives you sort of talk about, and it gives an insight to even the layman to certain fashion topics and all the other things you talk about. It gives them a sort of insight and a way of thinking about the topics you do speak about.
Ooh,
which is what I got from it.
That's what I try to do.
Because when I see like you talking about certain trainers, or you're talking about Virgil Abloh, it's like, yes, it's interesting, you know, like someone who's not in that world, like I'm not at all, you know, but it's something that's always kind of interested me. But having that as like a sort of introduction, so I know genuinely, because like this is probably the first time like
it is.
I've, you know what I mean,
articulated
it, but not even just articulated it. Because I know you've been dropping articles for time, but I've only really...
Yeah, it's been years, but, you know, for this...
Yeah, but not to this frequency, where to the point where I was just seeing you, like...
Yeah.
I'm always saying it, you know, but like, my point...
Yo.
But my point is, like... And that's what I'm saying. And the funny thing is,
I'm getting to one a week
I
now.
see that because I know you as well.
Yeah.
And it's funny because... when you're outside of that, it's like, it's so funny. It's loads of people have like a mad opinion about stuff, and that's why I try not to do that so much. I have to catch myself sometimes, because having a mad opinion about something when you don't do that thing, like, you know, like obviously you can say, like I don't like how that thing is done, but to criticize what that person's doing, or how they're doing it, etc., or the things that they believe about themselves, or their ideas, like, until you've done that, you can't really be, you know what I mean, you gotta watch the way you're thinking about what you're saying, you know, like or with the intention with what you're saying, because everyone's allowed to have an opinion. Like, as we've said, once your work is out there, it's no longer yours. Like, it's the world's almost. It's not ours anymore. So okay, of course you're allowed to have your opinion, but just on an individual level, we've got to be more aware of, like, why am I saying what I'm saying? 100. Do I actually understand what I'm talking about? Yeah,
like do you have a qualified opinion?
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the conversations that we had. Was it just before you started the 30? Like, I said that some people are just not qualified to talk about certain things that we talk about, or certain things that we do. And then that conversation like kind of just went on, because it's like, when we work, or when it's like, when it comes to a conversation of like quality, like there was this
stuff. Yeah, I see. I meant to look at that. It's so frustrating. And Ebro that put it together?
No. It was a podcast called The Brew. Like, they like didn't put their names on the thing. I was like, as a producer, I was like, oh my god, I feel so sad for them. Like,
they didn't put the names on the what?
Yeah, on, like, they didn't, like, obviously, like,
put their own names.
Yeah, their name on the list, as in, like, they didn't say that it was from The Brew. The Brew's top 50. Literally, the list just says top 50 rappers, and no one knows who wrote it. Like, you thought Ebro wrote it, but Ebro wrote it.
Because I saw a thing came up.
Yeah, Ebro wrote his own list, and so did other people. But it's like,
what? Just as a reaction to that list.
Yeah. And it's like, you can't necessarily write a list if you don't have, like, certain rappers on there, and the fact that you don't have certain rappers on there means that you're not fully in tune.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not, like, if your hip hop opinion is
and this was a top 50 of all time.
Yeah.
All time.
Yeah. So, like, top 50, like, you need a real catalogue of, like,
you need to know what you're talking about.
You need to at least have a top 200 list Like, and then you say you're 50. Like, that's how deep it is, because there's been so many rappers with so much quality out there, and the golden age in the 90s and stuff.
Yeah, but like I think like, a top 50 is fair. It's just you got to know what you're talking about, because and be able to back up why you made those decisions.
Like, see, but you need to know all the rappers.
Well, yeah,
and you need to know a lot of songs. And if you don't know a lot of songs, like, then you can't really have like, if you like, you can say Nas and you can say Jay-Z, and then but are you gonna? But where do you have DMX? Where do you have LL Cool J? Where do you have Styles P? Where do you have, like, and do you group Styles P and the Locks together, like, or do you have or do you have Jadakiss, Styles P in the separate places, and do you have Wyclef on the list as an individual, or Lauryn Hill, even though her Education album isn't a hip hop album, and that's only one album, so that means you group the Fugees together. Like, there's so many different types of avenues that you can go down. It's like, what is even the categories that you're basing this off? We have that conversation of being qualified. So what about writing? You can write as well as I can, or my writing isn't of value by any means.
It's an intricate one, though.
And then that's when we start having that conversation of like you can say,
because
like, if I was saying
he's only saying
like,
that also from the way that you're saying it, though.
No, yeah, it's a reaction, but it's a stupid reaction. Like, it's a stupid reaction because you don't have a grasp on every single article I've wrote. You couldn't say, oh yeah, remember in Pain of Passion when you said, like, I didn't really like this part, like, and then you break down, oh, this, you know, like, if you were a writer like me, I like I go to people for certain ideas and things, like because I want to get an MPC. Like, I went to certain people to ask about an MPC, and then I came back. But I go to the people that I would think knows have an MPC first, or even knows anything about an MPC, and then I'll do my actual research. But it's those people that I just go to quickly and say, what's this thing called? Let me go research it. So it's like, if you don't know what a stanza is, like, why are we even talking about this? And it's a funny thing, like, when I drop my book, it's like, yeah, because I did say, you know, it belongs to the world, but not everybody in the world can have an opinion. Like, well, not everybody in the world can, like, just break down your thing and say it's good or bad.
I think because
look, here's what I think. Yeah, I feel like, because this is the kind of conversation.
Not every person's opinion is of equal value.
Yeah,
that's the better way to say.
Yeah, because
inherently in that, it's not just saying, oh, you shouldn't take everyone's opinion the same way.
Yeah.
It's also saying, for the people who do make these opinions, make your opinion valuable. You know?
Yeah.
And the way you do that is by understanding.
Yeah, like, you have to have
some
an
extent, or have experience. Yeah.
Like,
and sometimes that's not even the study of that thing. It's the practice of that thing.
Okay. I thought
you get what I mean? No. Because
there's only two ways.
It's like critics. It's like people who go and sit and watch shows or have food, or, you know what I mean? And they write up all these things, but there's an agenda or a bias, you know, behind those things.
That's a bit sad.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's why sometimes it is a practice of that. And even with people who's like, you know what I mean? So sometimes you have got to look under the layers. Some people are like, get jealous because they didn't get to certain places and they become someone who's a critic, and, you know, like, there's so many layers to what makes someone's opinion. You have to look at it for what are they saying, like, how have they structured their opinion. Just because they've said this thing and they've dressed it up in a few fancy words, is that
them? The funny thing is, like, I heard Joe Biden say something on his podcast. He said you would come to for an unbiased
Huh?
top. He
We're the
said,
people,
yeah,
okay.
that you come to for an top 50 list or something like that, right? And then he said, Kanye isn't in his top 50. No, but look, that's agenda based. The way, because he's had an agenda against Kanye for years because of like the stuff that he says about Trump, like, and then
Okay.
all like just certain space. And even though he should be able to relate to that, then you should even like just taking away agenda, you should be able to say Kanye has had too many albums
that have influenced this.
Yeah. And
this much of what hip hop is now.
Like, he has to be in your top 10. And if he's not in your top 10, then you're hating, really. And it's not even in hip hop. Like, we can remove hip hop and just say music, and then like just look at the landscape of music and all the artists that come out, and just be like, Kanye is the best musician that we've to this day. And like, he's not just like music, it's like producer. And then you go to orchestration, and it's like he can really put something together. Like, he doesn't even need to rap on it to put something together properly. And it's like, okay, we have to actually have the conversation about real producers are able to put something together. Like, you don't even need to have your hands on it. And that's why I kind of rate Khaled, even though it's like he kind of makes the same song 10 or 20 times. But that's not the point. It's like, the point is he's able to put things together. Like, I can't really have an opinion on being a musician until I learn the trumpet. Like, I'm picking a brass instrument and I'm just gonna learn it because I wanna actually
man
speak.
like Miles.
Yeah. John Coltrane.
Was that the one? Okay, was
John Coltrane?
Who was the main reason that made you pick John Coltrane?
Yeah, like,
that was that the song where you was
marvelous. My favorite things, like the way his rendition is just so marvelous, and it's like just hearing like what you can do with like one of those type of horns. It's like
brass instruments. Yeah. See, me, saxophone. Whenever I hear saxophone, I was just
saxophone is like a lot more complex to learn. So it's like, but the thing is, it's not even that it's more complex to learn. Like, the intricacies of like what you can do with a trumpet, just like by little pressure points, and it's like you really for it. And like me, I feel like I didn't have an ear for music necessarily to be able to like just speak. I have to be able to open myself up in a certain type of way, and I want to like opinion. That's why I want to like, and that's why I'm learning how to read music, because that's more, at least then it's based on an opinion that comes from the same space. Because although my opinions aren't biased and they're entrenched in history, to say they're entrenched in practice also, because everything that creativity that I've done, like, I've done photography, I've done interior design, I've done graphics design, I've done 3D design, 2D animation, 3D, and I need to open and I've even done fashion, and open myself up to this music, like being a musician, or else I need to open myself up to music, even though music is like the most complex thing. Like, music is an entity by itself. Like, a creative that's real. Like, when I talk about being a consummate creative, like, this is something that we spoke about years ago. But
no, I just want you to.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm on a podcast.
Come on, bro.
But yeah, when I talk about being a consummate creative, it's someone who's really about the craft of creating, basically. So not like creative as in like the industry term, like junior creative, senior creative, all of those type of things. Like a real creative, someone that makes things. So if you have the ability to make, then you shouldn't be bound by any medium. So you should be able to make a hairbrush the same way that you're able to make a door. And then you have the same foundation, because those are the same foundational principles. You go through ideation, you go through specifications, and then like you start making the type of door, and then like you do the little type of intricacies, and then you articulate it into real life basically. So you should be able to do that with everything. So like, and then let me put that in music terms. It's like you start jamming out, you have a jam out session, and then you catch a certain like tone or note, and then it's like, oh, let me see if I can loop that, blah 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 blah.
It's just a story, man.
Yeah, and it's like building up on that repertoire of things. So, and then what you can't, because methodology, and then with that I was able to translate that to fashion, industrial design, and like just pretty much everything else that I wanted to learn. And it's like, and then learning the real things of like industrial design and fashion, and like just making, that also informed my opinion of how to even build a story up. And then like, so when we start talking about fashion within like when we start talking about context, so when we talk about a story and like, okay, so what are these people wearing, how what do they drink out of, what does a cup even look like in your mind? Now you're able to build up a room. What the hell is a room? Like, you start being able to answer these questions because you're a real creative, because you make things, and making things as part of your process are in the space within your mind. Like when you close your eyes, are you able to inform a
Find so interesting about fashion as well. Well, I like that, like the way, like I'm just so, I really gotten, so to speak, but it's like I like when I see it, as someone who just does create things, I always ask like, why has someone picked that color or that addition?
Bro, like it's informed by history.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, so weird. But stuff like that I just find so cool. It's kind of like, I was looking at this I came across this video where this guy was breaking down how Johnny Ives was completely so open about how influenced he was, and how that he literally was so candid about, even down to the interfaces on some of the apps, like the recorder and what else, there was a couple of things, but just how his design language influences stuff. And when you look at the stuff he made, it was just so, it almost does look timeless, like all the stuff he made. Like I was even looking at the recorder he made. It was just, it's really cool. Like it was just the thought about, and it was so interesting what he said. It's with design, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was essentially, good design is is almost like, it's not no design, but he said it was as little design as possible. Yeah. You know, with a little actual design as possible. And I know contextually,
good design makes like, with good design, it's like you don't know that it's been designed. It's like it's just there, and you don't know bad design until it's like, until you get something wrong with a product. So that's what, like, and
I know that's a bit different from fashion, because with fashion sometimes it is about having the aesthetic to tell a certain story within what you're wearing.
Here's the thing,
you know, and which is the same with
like,
films. But
we'll go back to fashion, but it's like when I heard that, like back in the day, like this was at least like 4 years ago, or at least 4 years ago, like when I was like really into the industrial, like when I started doing interior, and then I started looking at certain things. I started looking at milk cartons, and then I saw that you obviously don't have like the cows make milk cartons anymore, but like there's the little handle on top.
Yep.
Farm is stable whenever you're pouring, and then like you see the little ridges, and then start looking at a can, and then like you see the way a can is actually being made. It's like made from sheet metal, pushed down and stretched, and then you have the little, it's like a triple the name, but it's like a triple wound still seal, so it's like basically, and then it's sealed shut, and then because they're shaped like that, they won't burst open any corners, and it's like one of those like ways where it's like you have like has the optimal it has the optimal spacing on the inside, and it's like all of these other things it's not just about anymore. It's about storage, and it's about shipping, and it's it's really about moves through time, and is able to move through space. Basically, it's over there. Sorry. What else did you learn about Dieterams?
I was just because I only had a brief. I've been doing this beat. I haven't been able to sit down and get my study on, but I was just looking into. I was mainly just looking into how he influenced Apple, and just his design language, just his design language.
Director of Apple anymore.
That's some serious stuff.
It is.
That's very serious.
It is. When John Lasseter left Pixar.
Yeah.
And
poor Toy Story 4, man.
Damn.
Even the trailer looked uninspiring. It looked like a typical.
That's literally the end of an era. Like literally, Steve Jobs, John Lasseter, the guy that made Star Wars, forgot his name, and then and then Johnny Ives. Johnny Ives came a bit later, but it's like these guys started 3D design and real timeless industrial design, and then like there was that obvious period where Steve Jobs got ousted by Apple. He made Next. He has such a compelling story, and then Apple brought him back, and then he brought Johnny Ive in, and it's like you get so much great design, and and then when you just hear that story, and it's like you understand the codes that come from the story, and like you're able to really see where greatness comes from. Because greatness always comes from a place, but it's not just that. It gets concentrated once it's around other greatness. And then there's like a pressure cooker effect that happens. And that can last for like 10, 20, 30 years in their case, like until Steve died. And like Apple was bought and sold and bought by Disney and stuff like that. But now it's all about business, and yeah.
It's terrible.
It's about business now. By 3D, and I was just like, this isn't gonna last, sort of thing.
It's cool. It was always something that was so cool. 'Cause like, what got you excited about it from the get go? Because I just don't know. It
was a program that I was able to. I needed to learn. I knew that it was gonna be important. I knew that being able to ideate something in a space with as minimal money as possible, you're literally able to make anything within a 3D space
and then translate it into reality.
It doesn't affect reality really. It doesn't take away any resources and all of that. But that's also the other thing. Printing. Yeah, when you're working, like it stays in that digital space, and then you're able to make it. And so that means you're already and stuff, and then you're able to see how it's gonna
work in a 3D space. You can even get the space and have that thing that you've made,
and
be able to envision that.
I forgot what I was gonna say. When you're able to do that, and you're just in a space that's untethered by space, basically, and time, and like you real resources. But even in 3D printing, you have to make something to exact specifications. The reason I did 3D is because you're able to make. And then now, because I know 3D, I'm able to do industrial design. Like, that's the whole point. It's like, and then you're able to like, I know I can learn how to make prosthetics because of that. And then that goes to other spaces. Like, I can make anything in 3D, or industrial design is its foundation is in 3D, and then you get engineering whose foundation is in 3D design as well. But you have to understand those programs are made for students to learn without, like, because the expenses are just would be so high. Like, it's just the same thing with like graphics design, Photoshop and Illustrator. It's like you would have to do so many different ideas on a piece of paper and like have them exact, and if you done something wrong, then it flop. But what the reason I got disenchanted is because I knew that cinema wasn't the best way to utilize 3D. Like, because at the end of the day, that thing isn't real. If once that file gets corrupted, then that file's corrupted, sort of thing, and you can't have it. You can't have it anymore. Like, it doesn't affect the real world. And like, you can have a cinema, like, it's like a how big is your dick competition sort of thing, because you're not really doing anything. It's like it's not real. Like, cinema isn't real. Like, when you do 3D for cinema, it's not real. But when you do 3D for industrial design,
because that's the thing, is
it's real.
Its own, and that's the thing about films, isn't it? And why I kind of got disillusioned with the whole concept art thing, because the whole reason why I even done concept art is because within everything, within films, within TV, within games, etc., it encapsulated most what I enjoyed about creating things, which was having the vision and the idea fleshed out as much as, like, you could see that vision and idea. And although I wasn't physically going to be able to make the whole film, I could create the vision for what it was going to feel, be, and look like.
Yeah, and it's not like I don't want to make films anymore. It's just that 3D, the way I was doing 3D, it wasn't to do films. It was to learn. Is one of the hardest thing to do with 3D. And like that,
because there's endless, you can do anything.
And that's like a whole other sort of thing. And then I had to unlearn certain things that I did learn for cinema. Doing 3D for industrial design, it's like you have to like size the room, and it's like you have to make it real. So, but that's just like one of those. It's.
But when you say 3D. You're disillusioned with it, do you mean you just never want to? Not that you're never going to do it again, because I know you're doing that at the moment. But
I just wouldn't
just
do
doesn't
it as
fit
a
in
job.
with
I just would never do it as a job.
Oh, mate, that's what I mean. I like towards the end of uni, I was thinking doing this concept art as like a job. I just knew
I couldn't.
I knew I couldn't either.
Like, I needed.
It was just too.
I needed to be able to create a world and have 3D incorporated in it. That's why I loved live action so much back in the day. Not live action today, where everything is basically 3D. Like, half of
that's basically what live action means now, isn't it?
Half of Avengers is 3D, and it's like the first Avengers was the best Avengers because 3D was incorporated. You can tell what the budget was, because 3D was so concentrated to the end
certain
part.
Parts. Yeah.
And like you can't have a Hulk smash scene because those things are just expensive. Like, you'd have to make whole cities and crumble, and then like you just have to do dynamic things, and it's like you can't even make those things without properly asserting yourself.
So funny. And now it's like they got so much money.
Yeah.
Let's just make a 3D film. With
family.
They're probably all the actors just walking around in green screen at all times.
Yeah, that's basically it. And that's sad to me. Like, really, me right now, like, I'm using 3D for a purpose. And that's really how it's supposed to be. It's like for a singular purpose, for a goal to like really make something easier and have less but the other thing is, like, I need like a tablet now, and it's like and that's kind of adding to the cost of things. But I genuinely should have a tablet anyways, but my other one broke. Well, I lost my pen really, but yeah, like, that's just that.
It's mad. Yeah, it's a weird time to think about.